Speed has never killed anyone. Suddenly becoming stationary, that's what gets you.
Well, guys, so I had to shut down. I could have stayed at Salt Lake. I had a terminal at my disposal to shut down there and just chill. But I chose to keep going. So I'm out here at the pilot in St. George, Utah. I was checking the weather and I decided that going west on 80 through Donner's Pass wasn't the best choice. So I'm on this route. And when I was making that decision, I glanced at the weather. And it looked like it was going to be fine. But it wasn't. I should have been more careful. And I'm paying the consequences. But it's honestly not that bad. I'm not entirely happy about the situation, but to a degree, I am of course grateful for being safe. I just went through 2 hours of 35-mile-an-hour misery, but I made it to this spot safely, and I'm happy for the experience. I am not happy for all the less than smart people on the road. But I mean, hey, you could argue that I was one of them. So it is what it is. I'm gonna eat real quick. I got a Philly cheesesteak that I got at the terminal.
That's beautiful. It's a cover. Surprise. Surprise? Maybe you're not surprised. Probably not at this point. There was a weird moment in 2017 where a random Twitter user named Valinsky Konjic tweeted, and this is a great tweet actually, every 90s kid comes of age 3 times. 18th birthday, 21st birthday, the day they find out that Natalie Imbruglia's version of Torn is a cover. End quote. And that tweet went viral.
One pair of pants later.
Hey guys, so I'm in a pilot here in Bakersfield, California, heading from Oakland to Corona. I already delivered my first stop, and I was gonna eat in the truck, but how can I not have food truck tacos? Let's see. Okay guys, I'm actually starving, so I'm pretty excited. These two burritos are hot. I got a chicken and pork burritos. So, pollo and carnitas. Ooh. You can rarely go wrong with a good burrito. So I delivered my first stop on this load earlier today at 4 in the morning, and my final stop is in Corona, California, about 180 miles away from where I'm at right now, but it doesn't deliver until 10:30 in the morning tomorrow. And I realized that I didn't really talk much more about the snowstorm situation that I encountered. Basically, when I was in Salt Lake City, I could see that there was a very bad storm system. That's what they call it. I'm using professional terms here. There was a bad storm system that was coming down, and while I was waiting for my friend to bring me the parts for my wagon, I was talking to another trucker at the terminal in Salt Lake City that had told me that he had been proposed a load headed west, and he declined it because he could see that the storm was coming. And I was like, yeah, I saw that, but it wasn't supposed to hit until later the next day. It seems that, I guess, it sped up a bit. But anyway, looking at the weather, continuing to go west on 80 was definitely not an option. Routing down I-15 around Donner's Pass, that's around 200 miles, but you dodge all the crap. So I took that for granted, I guess, and I didn't give the weather on that area a proper look, and I paid the price. Now, I mentioned earlier on this video that I should have just stayed in Salt Lake City. I should have known better. I could have been chilling. And while that is true, I would have had to go down the same road or route that I took. Donner's Pass was still not going to be an option for a number of days. So, I could have shut down in Salt Lake, yes. But, I did what I did. And eventually I would have taken the same route. I'm not saying that what I did is better. I'm just saying that I guess because I made it, I ended up ahead. But yeah, had I known I was going to face that kind of weather, I would have stayed in Salt Lake at least an extra day. In my opinion, it wasn't as bad. It was definitely bad, but the issue is not, in my opinion, the condition itself. It's the other drivers, because I was keeping a consistent pace. I was doing 45 miles an hour. I'm keeping my distance from all the other vehicles, of course. But it was the having to slow down that got eerie. When you're keeping a nice pace, it's all fine. When you have to slow down, that's where you're gonna, hold it down, man the trailer. There was multiple situations in which I had to slow down. And again, I'm 100% focused, no music playing at all. And I held it down. I was passing people on the left lane and being safe. There were two close calls. One was
towards what comes next, and I may or may not have been privy to some news of what this might account for, which might have also been a factor in my decision, because I've watched the growth of earnings. I've watched the growth of the company. I've been in this industry for long enough, and I've seen the path that this tends to take and what makes the company.
Yeah. And the other one was basically a really long downhill. There was no snow. It was like a long descent, and there was no traffic around me, so I was fine, but I could see the traffic piling up at the bottom. So easily that downhill would have gotten my truck and trailer over 60 miles an hour. But because it was, again, slippery, I was, holding the truck at 40 miles an hour, and I was like constantly tapping on my brakes. And I was doing a pretty good job maintaining my speed, but my brakes were getting overworked. I could actually smell my brakes overheating or having overheated by the time I was at the bottom of that hill. But again, safe, thankfully. But after that, I sent a text message to my dispatch saying that was kind of like the last straw. I mean, I already wanted to slow down before, but there was no safe place to shut down. I can't just shut down on the side of the road where it's just slippery and snowy and people are still driving by. So my best bet was still to get to my fuel stop, which was a 40 mile drive, and that took 2 hours. But anyway, about 30 miles away from there, from where I was planning to stop safely, we were in some stop traffic, and I messaged my dispatch letting them know that I was going to shut down, with the intention of shutting down there, because I had still a good 4 hours to drive after that, 4 to 5 hours that I could drive on with my clock, but there were some high winds further down, and I really didn't want to be stuck on high winds. And literally the moment I sent that text, not 10 feet after that, the road was perfectly fine. And I hate when that happens because it makes me look like I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, I'm going to shut down, but then it's like all great and I'm driving. It puts my dispatch, in my opinion, in a tough spot because they're in constant communication with the client or the place where I'm delivering, letting them know, like, no, he's going to show up. No, he's not going to show up. He's going to be late. He's going to be on time. And it looks very unprofessional, in my opinion. So I had to just stick with what I said about shutting down and shut down right then and there. Also because when I got to my fuel stop, there were a lot of spots, and I thought it was just prudent to take advantage of that. And also because there were a lot of high winds further down I-15, around Bakersfield in California, and in the stretch between Vegas and the California border, there were 45 mile an hour wind gusts. And I can deal with those because I'm heavy still, or I could have dealt with those because I'm heavy still. I was heavy still, but I didn't want to get into a situation where I drove the extra 4 hours that I have on my clock, get to like Baker, California, or around the border, and have to struggle for parking. So I just shut down in St. George, Utah. And that was it. Right now, again, I'm 180 miles away from my final delivery in Corona, California. We're going to take it the rest of the way. And we'll go from there. Now let me enjoy my now cold burrito. Well, guys, so I'm already parked at a Pilot. My GoPro died halfway through my drive this morning to my delivery address. I've been talking about that in comments in the past. It seems that the GoPro can't handle the heat. Don't know why, but that's been the case for me, and I guess it was for the better that it died, because I had my first service failure today. There's not much to it, really. I just hit some traffic on my way to the delivery address, and yeah, I didn't take LA traffic into account. It took me 3 hours to get through 60 miles of traffic. So yeah, I was late. I was an hour and a half late to my appointment, so I had to pay $200 of a late fee. I'm probably gonna get a service failure note on my profile with Prime. But there's not much to it. There's not much I can do about it, other than take this experience and learn from it and take the proper measures. And this is the first time, again, that I'm ever late to any appointments. I always shoot to be an hour early, if not more. You know, if you guys have watched my videos, I'll call shippers and receivers and ask if they can load me or unload me early, or if I can park at their facilities. I don't mind spending a day in the truck at their facility if that means that I'll just be there early. But again, my lack of experience with California traffic got me in this situation. And again, there's nothing to do but learn from it at this point. And that's pretty much it. There's no point on beating a dead horse. I'm just going to take this learning experience and move forward. I already have my next load. It doesn't pick up for another 2 days, and I'm here at a Pilot in Mira Loma, California. So I'm gonna make the most of it. You know, I have some time to chill. I haven't really done much adventuring in a while, so I guess you're gonna have to watch the next video for that. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this trip, and I'll catch you on the next one. Having a good time. Thank you.